Shalom, shalom, Israel. Of course, we live right now. ISUPK, Gary, Indiana, you understand? Under Commanding Juliana. As you can obviously see, almost all the clothes is gone, man, already. We got all our people out. Any clothes you can think of, children, women, boys, men, all clothes. We got Trooper Bonnie Yah putting in work. Shalom, Lord Christ. This is how the event looking right now. You understand? We got Cap Marquardt, of course. Understand? Little man got something. I mean, right down on Broadway, man. Broadway, you understand? On the intersection in Gary, Indiana. It's a very successful event so far, man.
One question, y'all. I'm Sean Prowl, man. And let me tell you something. We different over here. We stepping.
And also, I want to say this too. We've been doing some interviews with our brothers and sisters, and they've been telling us it ain't been too many giveaways in Gary, period. You understand? It ain't been too many giveaways. So when they see this giveaway, you understand, that's been authorized by Commanding General YAHANNA. You understand? This was a very special event that our people felt like. You understand? And this is what we do in the ISUPK. You may cross a group. You may say we don't that we basically hate the world. But of course, you can never doubt the love that we have for our people. You can never doubt the love that we have for our people. As you can obviously see. Of course, we got the food coming up. Got all the clothes. Right on Broadway on intersection, man. If you need clothes, go ahead and get them.
We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General YAHANNA. Commanding General YAHANNA sent us out here for all so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. We're going to be here all day giving out free food and free clothing. All day until all of it's gone. If you need free food or free clothing for you and your family, come see us. Courtesy of Commanding General YAHANNA.
Shalom, Israel. Of course, ISUPK, Gary, Indiana. We got the brother right here. What's your name, brother?
My name is Paul.
Okay, so we got the brother right here. Of course, I want to ask you a couple questions, if I may. So, you might be walking down the street, your day-to-day tasks, whatever the case may be. What was your first mind when you saw these brothers passing out these clothes?
I said, God bless us. Bless God.
That's it.
That's the first thing I say. God bless. We need more like that around here.
That's right, brother. My next question was, of course, being in Gary, Indiana, I'm from Gary myself. I don't know about you. Are you from Gary? No. You're not from Gary at all? Well, of course, you've seen the city. I know that. I know you've seen the city. You see all types of brothers going through what we're going through. So I just want to ask, to make Gary a better place, what do you think needs to happen?
Got to clean up, tear down a lot of these vacant houses, clean up these streets, a lot of more jobs out here. Jobs is what we need out here, mainly. And transportation. Transportation, keep the buses running along. That's the main thing we need out here. And, just support. Just support. That's right.
Shalom Gay, nosotros somos los ISUPK, a los órdenes del comandante YAHANNA. Estamos aquí a darle ropa gratis, comida gratis para tú y tu familia aquí en la ciudad de Gary, Indiana. Si tú y tu familia necesitas algo, como ropa gratis o comida gratis, vamos a estar aquí todo el día.
Of course, Shalom, Israel. Right here, I'm with the sister,
Kimberly.
So I'm with Kimberly today. So first off, Kimberly, I want to say thank you for coming to this event at ISUPK Gary, Indiana, clothing and food drive. So I just want to ask you this. So how do you feel about today's event?
It's good. It's wonderful. Everything is free.
Mm-hmm. That's right, sis. That's right. And also, too, are you from Gary, Indiana, by chance?
I'm actually from Chicago, but I moved out here in the year 2007.
Oh, 2000. So of course, sis. So
yes, I'm a Gary, Indiana first.
So of course, you've been here for some time. Me personally, I'm from Gary, so of course we seen all the abandoned buildings, we seen everything, less jobs, we seen the absolute poor of Gary.
It would be good if they fix up the whole Gary.
Mm-hmm. And I was just about to ask, sis, so what you think should happen in order to Gary to change?
Well, they fix up the schools, all these abandoned buildings, houses, schools.
Yeah, that's right, sis.
El orden del comandante YAHANNA, gracias.
There's 13,000 Tahoe War out of Philly. Understand, Philadelphia came under Commanding General YAHANNA. I mean, the brother came up with an amazing question. He said he want to know, what does brotherhood mean to me? It is very, like, put simply, it's everything. It's the basis of your school under the general. It's what I was taught when I was 17, 18 years old coming to the school, that you cannot build anything without brotherhood. And the only place I've ever found brotherhood was here in this school. You understand that man behind y'all right there, that table, Commander General YAHANNA, put food on my family's table when I had none. You understand? It gave me a purpose when all I thought I could do was sell drugs. And all I thought I could do is do like idiotic things in the street. And he showed me what real brotherhood was. And he put me around brothers that would die for me, and I would die for them. Brothers from all across the country. And he showed me that brotherhood is the basis of any organization if it's to be successful. And the only successful organization out here is One West, UPK. That's it.
Out fighting to survive and feed their families. They had nothing for these young brothers.
Right.
So what did? They brought them out and they let them expound on their artistic ability. And these brothers created this. You don't steal our culture.
That's right.
This was born by blacks, Latinos, Native Americans in the hood.
Right.
With tacos and hot dogs and burgers and beer.
Right.
This is what it was for among our community. And as Hebrew Israelites, y'all know, we keep our culture.
That's
and
right.
I want to say to all the great dancers that hear about this, including these brothers, man. You brothers honored us today. You let us know that our culture is not stolen from us.
That's right.
We work hard the whole Lordship. We want to thank you, brothers, man, and all Israel, man. Keep our identity. Whom Yashala! Whom Yashala! Whom Yashala! Whom Yashala! Rise, Israel.
Damn right.
That's who you are. You are the biblical people of God. Right. You read that Bible, it ain't talking about white people. It's talking about blacks and Latinos. That's who Moses was. That's who Jesus was. That's who those men were.
That's right.
Black and Latino brothers that kept these folks.
Right.
Thank y'all, man. I appreciate it.
Damn right.
Of ISBK running headquarters, Harlem, New York City, the home of the truth, all of that. Brotherhood to me means that no matter what I'm going through, no matter what the battle, no matter what the glory, my brother is right there on the right, my brother is right there on the left, and as long as I have brotherhood, I'll never fail doing the work of the Lord. Shalom. What's going on? I'm Captain Tazaryak of ISBK.
Was it his sister? Was it the white woman? No. It was a group of black women. It was a group of black women that got the white man on the move. What's their name? They're mostly public figures. Hidden Figures, excuse me. Hidden Figures was about sisters who did the math to get the white man on the move. Not no filthy white slut. They called these sisters computers. And look at what you brothers reduce these sisters to. Tricking damn animals on the internet. That's what our women are reduced to. Our women got power in their minds. And our women been reduced to Megan Thee Stallion. We should be ashamed, black men. We should be ashamed that you hold your sister out for Instagram and you hold your sister out for TikTok. Only reason that black woman is up there shaking her behind is because she think of being a whore is gonna make her rich like Marilyn Monroe. A white woman can be a whore and be rich. She gonna have sex with the president. Now look at Sexy Red. You know why Sexy Red is a whore? Huh? You know why Sexy Red is a proclaimed whore? You remember that interview she did when she got molested? You remember when Sexy Red told you that she got molested? Yeah, don't nobody care about that. Don't nobody care about that. All you care about is busting the nut for your ancestors. That shit was extremely silly. I can't really I don't even understand.
Right.
That's the whole Bob Marley talk.
Right.
Smoking all that weed. Got you weak like that. You standing on the principles of Christ. Why would you say something like that? Explain.
Nah, he good. He good.
Yeah, but that's retarded. Do you know? Wait, hold on. No, go ahead. Say I want to see what you. Am I educated? Well, I'm checking you. Because as a priest, I can't chastise you in the name of the Lord. Don't say nothing foolish out your mouth in front of the priest of God. You understand? Like, this is my education. And listen, the reason I'm saying it to you is because I actually love you. Your friend or whoever over there that's laughing with you and think it was funny thing to say, he really don't care about you. I care about you. Because what man in his right mind or see black men standing on the word of God and say, what if I just, make a tap out? Yeah, that's silly, y'all. That shit is silly.
Black Latino is a Native American Indians in literal hell, man. And for your record, right, hell is a condition along with heaven. When you look up at these skyscrapers and these luxury apartments, that's where your person lives. You know what we gotta go back to? Oh, we gotta go back to the Bronx, Brooklyn. Good night. That's a rough situation, Black, Latino, and First Nation men and women. And guess what? It's time for us to get back, more importantly, what our God said to do. And I'm gonna show you what our God said in this way. Right here in this Bible, read. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26. And ye shall be holy unto me. Our God said, ye shall be holy unto me. I know when you think about the word holy, black man and woman, you think about that pastor or that email with that white robe and gown on. That's not what it means to be holy. Your mama and your grandma and auntie with that crazy looking feathered hat in church, they're not holy neither. The Bible says that holy means to be separate, set apart. Even when you look at the Bible was not for everybody. The Bible was set apart for blacks and Latinos, man, and Native American Indians. We're a separate people. Read. For I, the Lord, am holy. For I, the Lord, am holy. Meaning the Most High is separate. Let me tell you something that's not true that they teach in the church. They teach that God loves everybody. And that is nowhere to be found in the Bible. God just said, for I, the Lord, am holy, which means to be separate. I know you've never heard this before because they don't teach it in the church award. You don't learn about this, man. All they do is sing and dance and do cocaine and molest children in the back. That's what they do. Our God said, for I, the Lord, am holy. God is separate. Read. And have severed you from what? And have severed you. And have what? And have severed you. God said that he severed you, severed us. What does it mean to sever? If you sever my arm from my body, it's no longer attached. God severed the black man and woman, the Latino man and woman, the First Nation man and woman. From who? From other people. From other people. God severed us from the oppressor. God severed us from the Arabs, from the Africans. And Judges 3:1, man, he said,
That's right. I don't know you. I'm not letting nobody sell you crack. You know why? Because I never saw you before. But you a black man like me. That's right. And it's worth something.
This is Black Watch with Commanding General YAHANNA, the only man to lead blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans.
God made man on this earth. The white man he made man. God made man. God wants man to obey him.
Bringing you real news.
You don't need a black man in the White House. You need a black man in every black house.
For many years, there's a lot of black people who didn't realize how deep the racism of white America was.
You ain't gonna do nothing unless you decide where you gonna stand at with the Most High.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Righteous solutions to issues plaguing our nation.
Boy, you better wake up and see the power that is within blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians.
Join us every Monday from 9 to 11 p.m. Black Watch. Let the show begin.
Hey man, Black Watch about to get it in. Commander General YAHANNA will be here shortly. You understand? I got to give it up to my senior, General Muhammad, on deck. I believe General YAHANNA be here shortly. Also, got to give it up to the crew. Officer Marah, Officer Yediah, got Officer Mathumya in the house, Salakia, my main man, Officer Ibad Hayah in the back, you understand? So we about to get it in. We got the first story set up, but y'all know what we going to first? Also, let me announce also, hey, we got the California barbecue weekend coming up the end of this month, man. I think September 30th through September 1st or the 2nd. Keep watch, check the website and check the different social media profiles for the details. It's coming up. So what we dealing with first of all, we still do I know y'all have been hitting the numbers, man. I've been seeing a lot of 18s, whenever you want to, General. I've been seeing the number 18s, General. I saw a few of those. No sweat. I read the title. It sounds like a rough one. I ain't hear about it.
Go ahead. You got it, Akim.
Who? Okay.
We need some time?
No, I have it right here, sir. Black employees were forced to work in pouring rain, feds say. White workers watched. At a construction company's work sites in Central Florida, black employees were demeaned and physically threatened by their white supervisors and co-workers who would call them racial slurs, according to federal officials.
Did you hear that, Maya?
God.
You know it's Labor Day today, right? Mm-hmm. Today is the celebration of the labor movement, Maya.
God.
The 5-day week, the 5-day work week. That comes from the labor union, brother. Before the labor union, you work 7 days a week.
Counted to one.
No children's rights in the workplace. That came from the labor union. The weekend itself, that concept came from the labor union. Paid time off, women's leave when they're pregnant. All of that came from the labor union. Before the labor union and the labor movement, there was no 5-day work week. There was no concept of overtime without the labor union. They made great strides. Here's the problem. In life, like in everything in this planet, we never receive the benefits of what we work for.
God.
We never receive the benefits of what we fight for. Someone else receives them, Maya. So here we are in 2024. Maya, did you think this story was from Mississippi 1915? Did you assume that?
That's what it sounds like.
It sounds like Alabama 1925.
Yeah.
Well, meanwhile, Maya, this is this week. This week, 2024, there's black people on a construction site being worked like slaves, being called the N-word all day. In 2024.
While the oppressor watches under a roof.
Yeah, while he's keeping himself dry. Listen, blacks and Hispanics, let me tell you something. The Bible says this: I know thy work and thy tribulation. The Lord knows, man. The Lord knows what we've been through here and what we've suffered here. And I know the abomination of them which say they are Jews and are not. There's someone else who receives all the benefits of being the chosen people of God. There's someone else that receives the benefits of the protections that we fought for. And that's happening today at every work site all around the planet. The labor unions in America in the North were formed to keep freed slaves off of job sites, to make sure that freed slaves couldn't bring their superior knowledge, their superior zeal to the North and take jobs from the Irish and from the Italians. And that's why they formed these labor unions. And it wasn't until later on that black people decided that they should have black labor unions. I just remembered I sent you that Ibad down there in class, where they kept black people out of labor unions. And that's why black people formed their own labor unions, because they weren't allowed in white labor unions. And they formed their own unions. And of course, the Italians came and beat and murdered black people. Martin Luther King went down to Memphis, Tennessee, to support the black people protesting because they were members of the Black Sanitation Workers Union. And the Black Sanitation Workers, man, were going on strike. Why? For the same thing happening in Florida yesterday. For the exact same thing. because the white people that worked sanitation were receiving all of the money with the best jobs, with the least dangerous jobs, the choice assignments, and getting paid more than black people. Black people had to lift the most garbage and do back-breaking labor and did not receive the money as the white sanitation workers. They went on strike, Maya. They went on strike and they were beaten damn near to death by the police. Martin Luther King came down to march with him. He got shot. He got shot in Memphis, Tennessee when he came down to march with him. This has been going on forever. And with all of the Barack Obama and with all of the Kamala Harris and with all of the black mayors and black senators and all of the achievements that I'm supposed to be proud of, I'm supposed to appreciate, right? All the time. I got to be happy because we made it so far. Because we have all these achievements. You might want to look closer and maybe you'll find out that you haven't moved forward as far as you think.
Damn right, gentlemen. And that's why I break a lot of your hearts, man. We've been telling you for years and years, Sluck. We've been telling you for years and years and years that all these rights that you dying for these rights that we didn't march for. You dying for rights because your rights, the police won't respect your rights. In real life, all them rights and all them movements don't apply to black and brown people in real life. It was a lot of marches, a lot of rights given. You marched because you wanted more rights for minority. Guess what? You won that. And they gave rights to minorities called Chinese and other races. And they got all the benefits to your minority marches and rights. We didn't get them like that. And you still crying, what's going on, what's going on? They gave funds to minorities. There was the Asians and the Africans and the Arabs and all those so-called minorities. We fought for rights and we got rights, and there's a whole the Constitution with all your rights and the amendments and what you're supposed to do, and you argue on the streets with police about your rights, but in real life, they know those rights don't apply to you. And you end up getting shot because you have a right not to show your license, because you got a right to know why you was pulled over, why he's breaking your window and knocking your teeth out. I got rights. Oh, in real life, it wasn't for you, black and brown people. All we got is each other and our God, man. All we got is our King in heaven, man, waiting with them holy angels to come back. That's your army. Those the ones gonna really bring your rights. Until then, man, let's just unite and gather together, man, and serve the Most High. And our day will come. It'll come. Salaka. You see, it's Labor Day, and like General Hyman brought out in the 60s, they was getting treated the same way we getting in 2024. In 2024, you still being called niggas and spicks. Go work in that rain. We're gonna sit in here and eat our lunch and watch you dripping wet while we dry. It's still going on. Ain't nothing changed but the dates. Salaki.
You're right, John. That's right. Damn right, John. If I could, if y'all listen to them songs by Marvin Gaye, Mercy, Mercy Me, and what's going on, that stuff like how Jenna Mayak and Jenna Hyman brought out still going on to this day. Like how Jenna Mayak said, only change was the time, the dates. It's still the same. Like ain't nothing changed. All that voting and all that voting power, y'all was hollering, vote or die with P. Diddy, vote or die, vote or die. And we still dying. We still down and out. We still downtrodden. Ain't nothing changed like how you said, sir, but the dates. That is correct. That should be on the t-shirt. Because ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing going better for us. Ain't nothing. It's still the same. It's still the same. Nobody got no answers. And now you done took a woman who is not us and made her us. Like she is part of us and trying to put her in the presidency. Like she's something, like she a black person. She not. She don't even classify as one. But you're making her be one of us because she look like us. Ain't nothing changed with a date.
And let me tell you something, if I could, just to add, give it up for General Howard. If I could just add to what you just brought out, which is so heavy about the whole foundation of our protests for these jobs, the whole civil rights, march and protest really kicked off because two black men whose name we don't even know right now died on the back of a garbage truck. And they died on the back of this garbage truck. Guess why? They died on the back of this garbage truck because while it was pouring rain, these brothers who were part of all the garbage crews pulled in the back of a restaurant and could not go inside the back of the restaurant because they was black. So they had to sit on the back of the garbage truck. So to get out the rain, they sat inside the back of the garbage truck. And to this day, they don't know who did it, but somebody pulled the lever and killed them two brothers in the back of that garbage truck. And that was what it took for black people to turn around and say, yo, man, we can't take this no more. And the one thing, like we said, the one thing we never do, we never, ever, ever stand up and fight against what this man is doing to us. A lot of people don't know they used to beat black women up when they started protesting, getting on those buses. You know, the whole bus boycott with Rosa Parks. Well, you know, when the sisters protest, because the brothers told the sisters, look, y'all don't get on them buses, man. Don't get on them buses. So then the sisters wouldn't get on the buses to go to work. Neither would the brothers, because of course they wouldn't let Rosa Parks sit in the front, even though she was pregnant. Yo, do you know they had the cops out there beating up them black women because they wouldn't go to work? Because they would not go to work. Y'all go to work. Y'all go to work. Y'all get on the bus, because their economy was so good under the oppressing us that they could not take it because they lost the money of us going on the bus. That's what made them give it up. Not any moral fabric. Like, they didn't say, yo, this ain't right what we doing. We should let pregnant women sit wherever they sit on the bus. That wasn't the reason. The reason was simply they was losing too much money. And at the time, they was heavily in competition with the railroad that was coming into the cities under the pushcart workers, who was the real civil rights workers, not this whole Martin Luther King felonious nonsense that the government created, you understand, and hijacked the real civil rights march. The civil rights march started in the 30s, and it was with the pushcart workers. The brothers who, for those that may not know, those are the brothers that worked on the railroad. And the brothers that worked on that railroad was running people away from the buses because they worked on the railroad. So black people started not using the buses already. And that's when the pushcart workers are the ones that sent Rosa Parks in there and told her, this time you get on the bus, you not back of the bus. So they went in there. They were the ones really fighting. This is an evil, evil thing. And here, like you said, here in 2024, we still in the same thing. That's why the men that stand up now, you're the wisest and strongest men of all. You're the wisest and strongest men of all, because now that we at the end, everybody else has been worn out. Everybody's God has been worn out. Everybody's religion and movement has been worn out. But the prophets of God have not been worn out. Yediah, give me a scripture. Daniel 5, if I could, on what would go on in these last times. And this is an example, one of it. Now, I want to say something, but I don't want to offend nobody. Maybe I'll leave. Ooh, boy. I'm going to leave it alone, because I don't want to offend brothers or give brothers the wrong idea about what I'm saying. But what's happening to us today is almost worse than what was happening to us in the 60s. It's about as bad or worse. Go ahead. Give me this one. I'll leave that one alone, y'all. Salaki on that.
Kana Wakan, sir. Kana Wakan, the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High.
Right. He going to speak great words against the Most High. That's what you see these presidential candidates talking about. Great words against, like God is with you killing your baby. Like God is with that. Like God is with the genocide that they committing all over the earth. Like God is with that. God ain't with none of that garbage, man. And he gonna bring judgment on this place, and it's gonna be beautiful, man. He speaking great swelling words. After a while, they're gonna say the book was fake. They're gonna try to burn the book. They're gonna try to digitally correct it. I even noticed, a lot of y'all may not notice if you haven't been around long enough, but the digital search engine in most of your phones will not come up with the scriptures, many of the scriptures we pull up. The color scriptures and all that, you go in there and put it in the search engine in some of these online Bibles, and the scriptures don't come up. I'll be looking for scriptures. I'll be like, why isn't the search engine bringing this up? I start thinking, well, maybe I'm wrong. It ain't that scripture. I go back to the Strongs, the hardcover, boom, the scripture right there. It don't come up in the search engine. You know what I mean? So you got to have multiple search engines when you looking for something that's rare, because they playing games with it. You know what I mean? And after a while, it's going to be worse and worse. This book right here is everything. Go ahead, Salaki.
Colonel Khan, sir. And shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
That's what they've done. A lot of you have given up the fight over this here. Like I said, we don't even know these brothers' names who died in. Somebody look it up too. Let's look up the names of these brothers that died in the back of that garbage truck. You understand? Because they couldn't go inside because of the rain, which is evil as hell. Is an abominable thing we went through. We shouldn't embrace labor. Should we embrace these slaveries that we have? It's damn near like if the slave master give you a slave, you should be thankful. You should be thankful you got a job. You got a job. Don't let rebellious Negroes. When Moses taught us to not get on jobs, a lot of times they don't want to bring that out. Moses was against it. I'm not telling nobody to quit your job and give up your job or nothing like that. You'll feed your family. But just understand that you live and die by the hands of the Most High, not by no handout from the slave master, the bottom of the barrel that he gives you that's underneath every other heathen. Go ahead, Op.
Colonel Khan, sir. Colonel Khan. And think to change times and laws.
Right, change times and laws. He rechanged the whole calendar, man. Time of day. When the hell the day started midnight? Changed everything. When the hell the year got 360? How many days he called the year? 360? 365 when it should be 360. Is all kinds of things he got off. The holidays, all us off. You got to look into the world that they created for you, and they gutting our spirit. They wearing out our spirit with all these lies and all these games. Go ahead.
Colonel Khan, sir. And they shall be given into his hand.
And we've been given into his hand, man, for a while. Go ahead. Let me let you finish it, Socket.
Colonel Khan, sir. Until a time and times in the dividing of time.
Times and times and the dividing of times, man. And let me tell you something. And that time, just so everybody knows, that time is coming to an end. But what's so beautiful, man, was the way our entire nation stood up for Rosa Parks. Our entire nation stood up for these two brothers right here. These two brothers right here died, changed everything for us. And now today, you want to marry a white man. You want to marry a white woman. You want the culture of the Asians, culture of the East Indians. You want the culture of the Arabs today. You want everything but the gold that the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, has for you. And as a result, they wear us out. We worn out in this place, man. We worn out from going to jail, worn out from all the drugs, worn out from everything they do to run us into the ground, man. I was coming back again, if I could, real quick, y'all. I'm coming to you, man. Yes, sir. Real quick, if I could run for just a second. I'm coming back from New York. Big shout out to all the brothers in New York City. Captain Tazaria, Captain Katazar, man, Captain Shamawa Allah, Captain Zakar, and all the other brothers up there that did an amazing job. Hooked us up like I can't even explain. I mean, did a hell of an event. Woke up a lot of brothers and sisters, brought them into the work. I don't come back and I'll mention it again. But on our way back, I'm riding through Newark, New Jersey, which is right outside of New York City, about 30 minutes outside of New York City. And as I'm riding, The airport's on the right. If you go down 95 or the turnpike, the airport's on the right, and on the left-hand side is filled with, it's a dock right there. The docks are right there. And on these docks for miles are containers all the way up 10 stories high. It looked like a skyscrapers as you're going down. And I'm looking at all these goods coming into this Newark airport. Millions and millions and millions of dollars of goods coming into this airport. And the only question I could think of is how much of the money of all these goods is going to the Lord's chosen. Newark, everybody know Newark, New Jersey is a black city, right or wrong. The cities around it are as black as you could be. Elizabeth, New Jersey, and the rest of them are black as they could be, and as poor as they could be, and as violent as they could be.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, billions of dollars is coming right through the port, right past they know. Not to mention what's coming in on go planes. And brother, our people suffer an economic destruction. They wore us out, but telling us you got the right now to labor, you got the union. Go on and get that union job, brother. You're gonna have benefits. Yeah, you should go get that union job, but you should not look at that job like something great happened to you. You should look at that job like you should look at that union and that job like this was a good hustle to keep the slaves working, to keep the treasures coming into this empire, man. To keep the treasure coming in here while the slaves get nothing of the treasure. Talk about you free. You a clown. You in absolute captivity in this empire, man. Labor Day, my ass with this BS. That was it on that? Please, mommy, give me what you got on the brothers.
The names of the two brothers are Echo Cole and Robert Walker.
Their names, brothers, should be echoed every single time Labor Day comes around. Give them to me again.
Echo Cole and Robert Walker.
Do you have a little of the story in there as well?
On February 1st, 1968, two Memphis garbage collectors, Echo Cole and Robert Walker, were crushed to death by a manufacturing truck. 11 days later, 1,300 black men from the Memphis Department of Public Works went on strike.
Okay. And I, if I could, so I'm coming to you now. And I had the story a little wrong. I thought they were crushed by the truck. They was crushed by a manufacturing truck.
That's what it says.
You understand? Which means another truck hit them.
Because I'm sorry. It says malfunctioning truck.
Oh, a malfunctioning truck. So it was the garbage truck. The story was right. Crushed them brothers in the truck. And who knows if it was malfunction?
Forget about it.
We don't know. We don't know. I bet you most black people didn't even know how to work that truck back then. Probably was a brand new line of trucks nobody even knew about, and they killed them brothers in there. Those will tell you about them having to be out there in the rain. I bet you they sanitized that part of the story. You got that part?
I got a paragraph.
Go ahead. Give it to me.
Over the years, they're mostly white supervisors and drivers made it painfully clear to the virtual all-black corps of sanitation workers.
Now stop, if I could. That's your job today. All of you are black and you the workers, but all the supervisors is white. They've been in heaven here, man. They've been in heaven here. Go ahead.
That they made it clear to them that no work meant no pay. On some rainy days, black workers could be sent home with only an hour or two of pay, while white supervisors were allowed to stay out of the rain and take home a full day's pay.
Damn, I didn't even know about the pay side. It rained, you niggas go home. We gonna stay and we the supervisors. We ain't even doing the work. And we get to stay here and get all the money, you understand, while you get sent home because of, with 1 hour's work.
Then there was an accident.
And then there was an accident. Then they get killed. Like once again, and the Most High blessed them families of them brothers, man, who stood up and protested against it. The tolerance that we've had with this animal, man, while he goes around the world and pays off everybody. Brother, I just saw a footage of when they left out of Afghanistan. Do you know they left out of Afghanistan? They left $6 billion worth of equipment in Afghanistan. $6 billion. That's money we pay taxes on. $6 billion. And you telling me you there's no money. America's broke. What do you want us lie, man. Every major city, they building skyscrapers like crazy. It's construction everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere they fattening up the roads, building more skyscrapers. There's money for everything except for us.
Right.
Because we was never brought here to be a part of this place. And acting like we a part of this place is delusional. Acting like we supposed to be part of this society is delusional. But the people that are delusional sit up and say, we the delusional ones. Like, y'all the unrealistic ones. When, brother, we are the ones that's eyes is wide open and awake at what the hell is happening in this kingdom. There's more, General?
That was it.
God, like, that was amazing, man. Give it up, y'all.
Look, much of it sounds like what just happened with them workers in the rain.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? Making them work in the rain while the white supervisor, same story.
Same story. Same bullshit, excuse my French, that they've been doing to us for years and years and years. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I could, I'll say it. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, all right, afterwards. But, okay, this burns me up. And everybody should do it. Listen, I used to hustle driving a cab and all that. So if you doing Uber or Grubhub or Uber Eats or anything like that, get your money. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing dishonorable about it or anything. But I'm just making a point about it. That in essence, what America has done has made all of the brothers servants now. Like, now we servants again. Now we got to carry some Edomite on our back in your car. Now you got to bring the food to every person that order, and people ordering out now more than ever before. Like, they done in essence made us the waiters and the what do you call it? I don't know what, and the cats carrying of it. All the brothers that got to drive truck. Now, like I said, get your money, handle your business, take care of your family. But understand this: you ain't getting no favor. They done just found a modern technological way for you to do the same slave job you was doing since you came out the chains. You understand? With no prospect of going forward. Every year, Uber's taking more money out of you so they can trade it on the stock exchange. You understand? While they starve you to death. They done did this thing over and over and over and over again. And you think no black man has ever thought about owning his own car service? I'm sure he has. Yeah. But somehow Uber seemed to have the ability to get licensed in every state, every country. That's right. Yeah. You're right. But they able to do that while you get to do what? You got to go and just bust your ass for them hours, and they acting like they doing you a favor. Mm-hmm. Once again, that's a modern day thing that we went to. Listen, I did it too. It ain't nothing dishonorable about it. Get your money. If you need to get your money, get your money. You know what I mean? If I needed it, I'd be out there, rocking the car out as well. It ain't no problem. But I'm just making a point of how evil this place is. Like, that we have to suffer this even to this day. Disgusted when somebody bring up Labor Day to us. When we drive an Uber and driving truck, we got to drive trucks across the country. I did it too. I got down and rocked them trucks too.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? We got to drive trucks across the country to feed our families. And then you talk about, well, why isn't the parent in the house? You understand? Why isn't the parent in the house? They destroyed that, man. They destroyed that. Now, 2 incomes is not enough. Now they stepping it up even more. Yeah. Before you know it, the household will have to be the grandparents and the newlywed couple. It had to be 2 Social Security checks and 2 people working regular job. It'll be 4 paychecks you need to keep the roof over the head of the people in the family. And it'll just go on and on and on, because this is an animal that can never stop. Yeah. And every politician is really there to just appease you. But ain't none of them saying we should give the black people in Newark, New Jersey, a piece of all the billions coming in these dots. Like, why aren't, like, the goods and services? It's insane. That's what's coming in this place. None of it going to the people that lived it. Okay. Meanwhile, last point. Meanwhile, you got to pay a toll every time you cross into one of their states. You got to pay a toll when you cross into one of their states, but the people that's in the state don't get none of that money for you coming into their state or doing business in their states. So our God's people got to separate from this world, man. And it's exactly what Pharaoh did. I'm coming to you right now, General. It's exactly what Pharaoh did to us in ancient Egypt. That's why, God damn it, you study that Bible, man. You pick that goddamn book up. You understand? And you put what's in that book inside you. Because that book is the real world.
Mm-hmm.
What you living is a fantasy and a joke.
Kind of the one.
But that book is the real world.
That's right.
Of what you dealing with. And when you stand up to Pharaoh, damn right. And when you stand up to Pharaoh, he's going to make your life even worse. But if you stand up to him, you, like the children of Israel, one day will be able to write the history of you and your people. You understand? The book of Exodus started with us in slavery. We wrote tons of books after about our life when we got the hell out of that damn place. And the same will happen here under global thermonuclear war. Thank you, General. Go ahead, please.
No, sir. 2 points. You just hit it so heavy, right? The scriptures say, our oppressor, he said, his turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. He got you actually walking around thinking that everything he says on TV and radio is the real world, and that the Bible is the fairy tale. That's why a lot of you talk about, well, I can't believe in no spook God, or I don't know if that book is true. That's just a book. That ain't real life. Those is fairy tales put together. He got you believing that this Bible is actually the fairy tale,
right?
And Donald Trump is the truth.
Yeah.
And everything coming out the TV is the truth. And that's why you're going to stay destroyed, because you don't even know what's real or not. This Bible is the real deal. Holyfield is the real life book of what happened to our ancestors, why we in this condition, and the answers to everything. How we get out of this, man. The real deal. That's the first point. The second point that General brought out on how none of the money and they get everything and swallow up every cent. Those same sanitation workers back then that were crushed, it said the sanitation workers back then was paid a whole week's salary, and it was so low, such a little bit of money that they still qualified for welfare. They still qualified for public assistance. That's how little they was getting. And I know that sound familiar to a lot of y'all in 2024. In 2024. Because you're working these jobs, fighting to get the bus to get there, fighting to get gas for your little rinky-dink car. You make it there, and after you get your check, you damn near want to quit. Because it's damn near like you still got nothing.
Yes. You know, they said the majority of workers at what's that big giant company? Walmart are on public assistance.
I believe it.
The majority, like 90% of them, are on public. All of them qualify for public assistance tonight.
God. That was it, General.
You know what I mean? Like what they done did to us here is insane. You know what I mean? That's it. That's fine. Next story.
We have 4 for 3. 2 for 4, 1 for 5 for 7.
I'll go with 3, sir.
Get down, yo.
Come. Kamala Harris pushes back after CNN anchor presses her to answer Donald Trump's question about her blackness. Here's everything you need to know about Kamala Harris's immigrant parents. Kamala Harris has accepted the Democratic nomination to run for the 47th president of the United States.
For time's sake, if you want, they're going to run down a whole lot of superfluous stuff. She's white. That's what they're going to do. That's going to be the conclusion, just like you said before. That she's white.
That's right.
She's white on her father's side. She's white. She's white and Indian. She's white according to the nation. That's the story. And they're pressing her, asking her the question. She won't answer it because, of course, she doesn't want anybody to know that her grandfather owned slaves because he was Irish, living in Jamaica. He's white, who married an Indian woman. She's white and Indian, East Indian, but she's white on her father's side, which means she's a white woman.
Right. And what's so evil about her particular family line, which of course you black people, Latinos and Native Indians could care less about it because you're ready to whore yourself out to the empire anyway. but for those that have integrity, for those that believe in the Lord, when he said he chose Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to bring forth the 12 lost tribes of the children of Israel, like General Muhammad is bringing out, that this particular female, her family line is a family line of extremely evil descent in this respect. Jamaica is poor right now today. Jamaica has what they call shanty towns. Shanty towns are towns where the whole town is made of concrete blocks and aluminum siding on the roof. Your roof is like an aluminum siding roof. No heat, no air conditioner, none of that. Barely electricity intermittently, barely water systems. Most people got to go out to what they call the standpipe, which is a pipe that runs into the neighborhood. And you go down there and that's where you get your water from, or that's where you take a bath, or whatever the case is. And this is going on in Jamaica right now. You go down there, brother, the dollar in Jamaica is like 60 to 1, probably more. It's some ridiculous number. Not only that, those Irish and others that went down there that enslaved the actual Jamaicans, the tribe of Benjamin, also collaborated with the East Indians. Remember, India was big back during the 15th, 16th century. They sold tea to the world under the British Empire's because they were a vassal of the British, and they were big money for the British. So wherever the British ruled that, they brought that money through there for all their counterparts in India. And so here we have the perfect storm for them to be great slave masters. If you go in the Caribbean islands today, the Caribbean islands are filled with both blacks and East Indians because of this same practice. These same so-called indentured servants that the British brought from over there in England, put them in the Caribbean, and then they, in many cases, will put over the blacks that was put in slave, or the Benjamites that was put in slavery. So here you have Edomites running the islands, the East Indians as an indentured servant, or as a second in command under them, and then on the bottom of the barrel you have the blacks who's in slavery. And it was hell for years and years and years. Well, her family benefited from it. And we don't say this to honor Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a white supremacist if you ever met one, and has proliferated white supremacy all over. He's not a friend of black people. We ain't speaking on any of this to tell nobody to vote either one. What we want is the right to be able to tell our people to wake up and serve the Lord, because we've been under great attack by many of the people in the Democratic Party for the things we've been saying. They constantly now all of a sudden trying to cancel many of our social media because we speaking out against what both sides of this damn campaign is doing. Because you always put your damn hope in some heathen that sits in some seat that the slave master gave him. You put your soul into it, and of course get disappointed and worn out for another 4 years. We trying to help you to not fall into that same trap. So to go back to what I was saying, so her family is a particularly heinous line of people who ruled in Jamaica. They were slave masters. And like you said, her father was an Irishman who was in Jamaica and married local. Her mother's side come from East Indians who came down there as indentured servants. And so the Irishman, being over the top of everything, didn't go marry the slave. He went and married the Irish woman. Okay, and I think he married the Jamaican woman or something, right?
The Edomite, the white Irish man, married an Indian woman,
right? And but it was a step down. Somebody married a Jamaican man.
I think that Jamaican is Indian.
Oh, he was.
So I mean, a Jamaican by country, but
he was still
still East Indian. Correct.
So there you go. You know what I mean? A hodgepodge of slave masters. You understand? And should she get to claim blackness and be president and dictate how our lives are going to go forward, when her family line come from people that destroyed the Jamaicans to this day? They destroyed that island under the hand of the British and the Irish and whoever else wanted to rob that nation blind. Like, we should wake up, man. You have black people, Latino, Native Indian people, you have 0% faith in the Lord. That's your whole problem. You got 0% faith in the Lord above because you've been worn out with that too. 1,000 different religions, 1,000 fake ass churches, 1,000 holy roller bullshit that you've been shoveling down people's throat that they worn out and don't have faith in nothing, so they put their faith in this. When our lives, after she gets in office or Trump gets in office, our lives are going to become twice as hell that they are right now. Our lives, the final solution happens in every nation we've been in slavery. Go check the Bible. Every nation that ever put us in captivity at some point decided extermination of us was the way to go because we keep rising as a people. And we keep coming together. As here we are 4,000, 2,000 years later, we still discovering our history, still bringing the 12 tribes together, still identifying who we are. This happens to us in every single captivity. Nehemiah did it. Daniel did it. Jeremiah had to do it. Isaiah had to do it.
Right.
Christ did it.
Right.
The disciples did it. Everybody did this. Every one of us, prophets of God, came together and pulled us out from under the heathen we were in under right before they came and destroyed us. And I guarantee you, brother, after this whole election and all this is over, they're going to ramp up this abortion and killing your babies and your stupid behind black women and Latino women and you Native Indian women. You're going to think is a future in being a black woman or being a Latino woman. And you're going to be willing to kill them babies and all that. But meanwhile, these people, man, have no good intention for you. You should call on your Father in heaven, man. That's what you should do. Go ahead, Slocky.
Last week they brought out how they trying to get the men to be sterilized too, right?
I'm shocked. This whole vasectomy thing is not something that was in the black and Latino community,
right?
You know what I mean?
Black men ain't like to talk about that.
You know what I mean? Yeah. We grabs out what? Cut what? No, man.
I just looked up something that gave you some more proof on what you just said about the final solution, how nothing changed. Now, you know, they struck down Roe versus Wade.
Right.
Abortion now is not legal in every state in America.
Right.
I just looked this up. This is despite bans. Numbers of abortions in the United States have increased in 2020. Wow. When they struck down Roe v. Wade.
They struck it down.
And the abortions went up.
Went up more.
That's right.
And show you how it's a mass bloodletting of our babies. And they don't want that shit to stop no matter what. The money is so good. The money, right or wrong, the money is so good that they don't want to stop it, huh? They don't want to even let it ease up. That the money is so good for killing these babies, huh? And they have an agenda. They have an agenda by teaching these young kids to prefer the same sex. All of that's part of the agenda, which is to wipe out your humanity and the thing that the Lord created, man. And to bring us so close to communism that we can now meld everybody together. You know what I mean? This fantasy that all nations will be able to come together and be one. When the Lord showed us in the Tower of Babel, he is not allowing that to happen. That Tower of Babel situation was designed to destroy us by people who was in charge of Babylon, who all they could think about is all the wealth and power they could have if all the people were together. If they all worked together, if we brought all the resources together, we could take on God. We could build a tower. We could take him on. That's what they all think. This is what every heathen thinks. Every heathen wants to rule the world, bring all the resources together, and take over the world and come up against the Lord. All of them want the same thing. And the Lord has stopped them every single damn time. And we should serve the Lord. We should discover the man that's in this book. We should discover the nigger God. That's what we should discover. Salah.
Damn right. General, if I could, that's why, y'all, it's very important for y'all to know who you are and what the Most High said about your history and heritage. When you go into the Bible, when the Bible describes people who get abortions as merciless murderers, How long ago was that written?
Thousands.
How long ago was that written? And we still yet have it right here today. How long ago was that written? How long was that book written? A while ago. Now, go back to the 60s or a little bit before to Margaret Sanger and my Alpha 21. Go back to that same agenda about her finding a way to destroy Black, Hispanic, Native Indian babies through abortions. Right? Go back there and then fast forward back to 2024. It's still the same agenda. The problem in this agenda is you the problem. You don't know who you are. Because when you find out who you are, then them sisters will be like how they were back during the time of Pharaoh when they said, we fear the Lord more than we fear our master. We fear the Most High more than we fear Pharaoh. So we're not going to kill these young babies. We're going to have these kids. We ain't going to listen to what you say. We're going to do what God says. That's the point of knowing who you are, man. And having faith in what your history and what your heritage is. That's the point.
Damn right. Give it up, y'all. Damn right. Was you gonna say something, Maya? If I could just go back to, I got to go back to the scripture. Maya pulled this scripture out, which was so heavy and so important, Maya, when you pull Isaiah 29:16. Yes, if I could run 3 verses real quick, man, into this, y'all get me right on it. Go ahead, Yediah. Run them down for me real quick. Because let me, what I'm about to read for the brothers and sisters that's out there listening, what I'm about to read is what should be in your mind. This is what should be your mindset when it comes to what is the future? What does God want? How should I think about the future and about my life and about my family? The general brought it out, man, was so heavy because it's a detachment from this world. Go ahead, I'd read that for everybody, man. This is who you are. This is what you was made to be. Go ahead, Doc.
Connor Wakan, sir. The book of Isaiah.
General, jump in anytime you get ready, of course, please. You pulled the script out. I was so right. Go ahead, Doc. Slakia.
Connor Wakan, sir. The book of Isaiah, chapter 29 and verse 16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay.
To turn something upside down means to make it opposite what it was. And the Lord say is like the potter's clay. When you make, anybody that knows about making pottery, when you make pottery, the wheel is spinning and you're shaping the device that you're making. But if it's made wrong, when it dries and it looks lopsided, all you do is take the pottery, smash it into pieces, put it back in the water, and it turns back into the mud, and then you make the same item over again out of the same mud. So what the Lord is saying here, man, is that what you set up upside down, it's going to be like a potter who go and smash it all up into pieces, man, put it back in the mud, and then they're going to make it right side up. LGBTQ, you upside down.
That's right.
All nations coming together, you upside down. Jesus Christ is a white man, you upside down. The God of black people is the God of Islam, you upside down with an Arab God. You upside, a man could be a woman, you upside down. A woman could go with a woman, you upside down. It's health care to kill your baby, you upside down. You putting a white man, a East Indian, or whoever that's not your people over you, you upside down.
Right.
You upside down.
Right.
In this world. Yes, and the Lord said he's going to turn, he's going to smash what you built and build it back right. And this is why, as a man of God or a woman of God, get your mind out of this world. Let this world, just watch it as it go by while you build the work of the Lord. Just watch it. It's going to go by. It's going to be all kind of things happening. You're going to see it. Oh, that's wild. That's out there. And it's going to go by. It's going to keep going by. But what is not going to go by is these prophecies. Give me some more, Yediah, please.
Connor Wakan, sir. Connor Wakan. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not.
Right. Can the work say, can the piece of pottery say, you ain't make me, Mr. Potter Man. Mm-hmm. So how you going to tell me I'm upside down? Right. I'm the right way I'm supposed to be. How he going to tell you that? God. When you the one made him. God. You made the pottery upside down. So that's why you saying, I got to smash this pottery and fix it the right way. But the pottery can't come back and say, no, what you mean? Don't touch me. I'm supposed to be upside down like this. God. That's idiotic.
Right.
Right. Come on,
and those
girl.
the people that say, I control my life.
Yes.
There ain't no God.
Come on.
I can be what I want to be.
Please. Yes.
I can choose. Let the children decide. All this other stuff.
Yes.
Wow.
You so right. Got kids going in there talking about their girl trapped in a man body.
A
and
6-year-old
all.
get to say, I'm a boy now.
Yes.
You know?
And they got permission now to not tell the parents.
Yep.
Now, all of a sudden, parents ain't smarter than the kids to give the kids direction. You upside down.
Right.
You know what I mean? You upside goddamn down. You know what I mean? And we falling for this upside down stupidity, man. Give me some more, you die, real quick, please. On what General brought out, man, which was so right and heavy in this damn time. We celebrating Labor Day when the Labor Day is about us dying in the back of garbage trucks. You upside down.
Damn
right, sir. Go ahead,
sir. Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he have no understanding?
Right. You gonna call the Lord stupid when he made your dumb ass and you can't even make your dumb ass? Instead, you trying to make a robot that's like you. What a dummy. What an idiot makes a robot like him. Now they tell me, well, the AI, we don't know. They're going to get smarter than us. Because you stupid enough to make something that ain't you, to be you. You're going to make an artificial you. Only a dummy would do that. You upside down. Go ahead, Doc.
Verse 17.
Come on.
Is it not yet a very little while, and Lebanon shall be turned into a fruitful field?
And brother, that should be how we should think. Lebanon is the area of land that's north of the land of Israel. It's part of our empire. They just start firing rockets back and forth with Israel. They sent a drone, which shocked the hell out of me. They sent a drone into Tel Aviv, and that drone hit the ground, killed somebody in Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv is halfway down in the nation. For that drone to hit somebody in Tel Aviv, it had to come in really, really deep into the country. And they fighting up there in Lebanon now. But the Lord said, after a while, it shall be turned into a fruitful field, meaning our people will be there growing and making it beautiful and prosper. And the people from the babies of the Greeks and the Arabs and the Philistines and whoever the hell else is living down there will all be moved back to their own land. Don't feel bad. Every nation going to still get their land because once again, the Lord know how to set up a nation, a planet. But they not going to get our land. That they not going to be able to have. Give me some more real quick, you die. I'm going to get through 18. We'll be done.
Con, sir. And the fruitful field shall be esteemed as a forest.
Come on. Same thing. Same basic thing. That is going to be beautiful at one time when all of this is over with, which is why we should put our faith in the Lord and walk with him until he do what he do. Stick with him until he do what he do. And not get caught up into the world. Like the scriptures say, don't get worn out. Don't be somebody that gets worn out. You ain't got no vestment in this place. And all the people, if she lose the race, all the people that put their hope in her gonna cry the way they cried when Obama left office and they got nothing. You understand? The same will happen after her term is over and everything is done. There'll be nothing for black people again. And those same people will be running behind you saying, vote for this new person that we have, which is a joke, instead of putting our heart and soul in the Lord, clearing our mind from this place so that we can then go build us, do something for us. So I love this UPK. This UPK, boy, this UPK is not filtered by anybody else. Don't nobody own us. Don't nobody pay us. Don't nobody control us. Don't nobody tell us what to do. None of that. We serve the Lord. And we sit down in our councils with the Most High and make the decisions necessary to do the will of the Father. And we don't care about nothing that we get from nobody else. And none of that matters. We take care of us. You understand? Which is the way it should be.
Damn right, sir.
I tell you, we beholden to the brothers and sisters that stand on that corner every day, that feed these brothers and sisters, man. Big shout out to Yatazar's amazing wives that did an amazing job with helping the brothers with that food, brother.
That's right.
That black rice she made was that nigh on the manna from heaven. So, man, big shout out to him and all the hard work he did, man. And we're going to support them sisters. I'm just saying, like, we got to love us and care for us and do what we got to do for us. This world is wrapping up. You can't see it circling the toilet bowl. They go into nuclear war. It's going to be a mess on this earth. Let's go fix us before the Lord's return. Real quick, I'm hogging up. Come on, you die. Get me out of here.
Kana Wakan, sir.
18.
Kana Wakan, sir. And the eyes of the blind shall see out of the obscurity and out of darkness.
Did you start at the top of 18, Salakia?
Oh, Salakia, sir. The book of Isaiah, chapter 29 and verse 18.
Come.
And in that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book.
Meaning not physically deaf, but deaf to hearing the truth. That's what you should be. You should be a man or woman of the Lord that now say, I'm going to try to understand what it is the Lord is saying. That's what it means when he say is deaf, meaning you don't understand what it is the Lord is trying to show you. But that's why he sent us. You understand? Now you got to hear the words of these records because you come into the time of the end. Give me the rest, you die, please.
Kana Wakan, sir. Kana Wakan. And the eyes of the blind shall see out of the obscurity.
Right. This world is obscure. Everybody's on drugs, killing and back and forth, all kind of ideas. They don't even know what sex they are. You in obscurity. And when the Lord said the blind shall see out of obscurity, he don't mean physically blind, but meaning you're spiritually blind and you're in obscurity. But you got to hear the words of this book and focus on the Most High so you can see out of the obscurity. So you could start to see, wait a minute, you could see the real world that you're in. This joint is just like that Matrix that sister wrote. That Matrix was real just like these scriptures are. You understand? You living in a fantasy world and you need to wake up to the Most High. So that's what it means when it say, get me right if I'm wrong, y'all. It means you seeing out of this obscurity, out of the blindness that they done set in front of you. Is that it? We good? Finish that last line.
Kana Wakan, sir. And out of darkness.
And out of the darkness, meaning out of this wicked way of life, out of the drugs, out of the whoring, out of the horrible things that's happening to us here, out of the intentions of all evil things, the goals of all carnal and evil, wicked things, the religions, the gods, all of this stuff that's being thrown and shoveled and pushed on you, all this philosophy. Every other Negro on TikTok got some philosophy about some stupid shit that means absolutely nothing. It means nothing. And see, you got to understand that we still trying to figure out how to talk to a woman in 2024. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Come on. We still trying to figure out, basic things about life. And got to have 100 philosophers tell us about it when the Lord gave us the scriptures. That's why you in obscurity and you need to be able to see out of darkness. That's what this Bible's for. I'm done. Throughout you died.
Damn right.
Yeah.
If I could, sir, I had a story that went along with the Kamala Harris story that Captain Azania brought out at camp. If I could just read a little bit of it.
Please.
It says Kamala Harris is a descendant of an Irish slave owner in Jamaica. Hamilton Brown from C.O. Antrim was paid the equivalent of 11 million British pounds in compensation by the British government to free the slaves after the ban.
Wait a minute. What? You telling me he was paid how much? 11
million in British pounds.
After what ban?
By the British government to free slaves after the ban, which means
the ban on slavery.
Which means the government had to pay Kamala Harris's great grandfather to free his slaves.
Yeah, that's reparations.
Yeah, and that's what they want to put in office.
Yeah. Whoa.
This was y'all.
Now, how much of that 11 million went to the slave? And that was 11 million in the 1600s.
11 million in today's money.
Oh, in today's money. But still,
yeah,
they had to pay him. Like he couldn't go out. He couldn't go broke. He couldn't go out of business because now slavery is banned. He got to get paid now that slavery is banned. Meanwhile, the slaves got nothing. And we talking about these are the bloodlines that's not even our people. We putting over us. And the same go for Donald Trump too. And not only him, but Barack Obama before him. And Bill Clinton, them Clintons, brother. I mean, Bill Clinton was beloved by black people. Played the saxophone, smoked weed, wore dark sunglasses on Arsenio Hall. He was loved by black people. Probably locked up more black people than any president in the United States. Mass incarcerations of our people. Destroyed families and generations, man. You understand? What's the scripture say? Peace, peace.
When there is no.
When there is no peace. One verse, if I could, General, give me that. Peace, peace, when there is no peace. Like you gotta seek the Lord. And listen, our Father in heaven is the greatest thing that ever could happen to us. And here's why. Because he said, I am a man of war. Like the fact that I would not want any other God but a God of war. Because a God of war is who you need when you're in trouble. When I ain't in trouble, I don't need a God. If I got all the money and the wealth and the power, I don't need the Lord. Because I got all this carnality. But brother, when I'm in captivity, I'm in slavery, or I got an enemy greater than me trying to wipe me out. Oh, I want the nigger God. That's who I want. I want the God that's going to put that plague on Egypt, my eye.
Yes, right, sir.
Bring Egypt to his knees. Bring Pharaoh to his knees before the Lord. I want that God. Right. You could never, black people, Latino people, and Native Indian people, you could never have asked for a better God. Like, brother, when we get in the kingdom, we're going to praise the Most High on an epic level. Like, we're going to serve the Most High on an epic level, because then we're going to really understand who it is that came to deliver us. Like, we're going to read these records and we're going to really say, well, I'll be damned. I had no idea who the hell was coming to deliver us and why. We're going to not believe it. We're going to be humbled by it. We're going to be humble. We should be humbled by what he did with Moses. We should be humbled by that alone, right or wrong. We should be humbled by what he did with Nehemiah. Jeremiah, Isaiah, our king, Yahushua, gave us a chance to get back into the covenant. We should be humbled by it. We still ain't get it right. Oh, we're going to get it right in the kingdom. We're going to finally be educated in it right and have the shock of our natural born life, understanding what had just happened to us.
And on a sidebar, it amazes me how much the mafia tried to pattern themselves after the Most High.
Wow.
With the Godfather.
Yes.
And you know, in wartime, they got wartime lawyers. They need wartime consigliaries and all that.
Yes.
Yeah. And the made men. They was like anointed priests. You could not touch. You couldn't touch them.
Damn.
Like they try on the left-hand side.
I never picked that up.
God.
Ooh, give it up for Jeremiah. That was big. I'm watching them Italian gangster movies. I ain't never picked up. So they, in essence, saw the power of the Catholic Church and went and took the scriptures and tried to build a criminal organization patterned after the Lord.
Rank and a whole godly system.
Yes, chapels and all that.
God.
Damn. We'll show you the Lord's way is the best way out. The best way. And we're missing it. We keep trying to focus on some politician, some rapper, some drug dealer, some scheme to get some money, when we should be focusing on the man that could fix everything, the nigger God. Salaki, you got that one for me? Please, the water.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 6 and verse 14. They have healed also the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly, saying, peace, peace, when there is no peace.
Right. That's how they healed us, with peace, peace. Wonderful. Let's come together. All be together as one. Da, 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 da. And there is no peace, man. There's no peace when we got to worship Satan. There's no peace when you got to kill our babies in the abortion clinic. I bring back Amram and Yoshabel. When they was killing all those Hebrew Israelites, man, and Amram and Yoshabel turned around and said, oh, no, not this boy. This is a goodly boy. This little baby, this a goodly boy. And boy, she was a slick-ass Haitian. She was a slick Levite. She turned around and put that boy in that basket and knew. Just think about this. She had this baby, and she would go on that edge of that river and knew that Pharaoh's daughter would be on that river and that Pharaoh's daughter couldn't have no babies. Like, that's how wise Yoshabel was. She's sitting back in the poor section, watching way down the river where them rich Egyptians are. And she see, oh, that's Pharaoh's daughter. Look at the gold she got on. Look how rich she is. Mm-hmm. She come down to that water, and Yoshabel was wild. She look at her and could tell, not only that she don't have a baby, she could tell that this woman is depressed from not having this baby. And she turned around, and right when she needed it the most, she put that boy in that damn, in that thing, whatever they call that thing, basket, and floated him down the river and watched watched him to make sure nobody messed with him. And that basket come down there. She knew that when that Pharaoh's daughter opened up that basket and saw that beautiful boy up in that basket, she said her son was going to be saved. That was cold. Boy, you had to be a hell of a sister to do that. That was cold blood. Just like all our stories is amazing. And that Pharaoh's daughter pulled that baby up out that water, man, and loved that baby. And just imagine being a mother and you had to do that. And you see the Pharaoh's daughter love your son and put your son in his arms. And you got to swallow that because of this oppression, you got to now lose your, even though you saved your son, you got to lose your son. You got to watch him grow up in Pharaoh's house. You got to watch him dressed in gold and diamonds. You got to even nurse him. Remember, she had to nurse him and still had to not have him like his own to show you how much of a slave we are. We go and kill our baby. After you really, that's why you dirty, rotten ass preachers, man. You rotten niggas, man, that's in them churches, man. Because you, I mean, god damn, you sitting there with the Bible, you rotten niggas, and you know these stories, and you're gonna let these, you're gonna shut your mouth when our daughters go to kill their baby in the abortion clinic, knowing what Yoshebel did. Knowing what she did with the one brother that delivered the whole nation. Like that boy grew up in that house, learned all the Egyptian ways and overthrew Egypt and delivered all the Lord's chosen people. Like, and she don't even get hardly mentioned. Like her name should be everywhere. Like the scriptures say, like when Christ talked about the sister being honored, Yoshebel should be honored every day. Every Passover, she need to be named. Because what she did, was incredible. The faith she had to have in the Lord, the wisdom she had to have to plot that scheme out, the strength she had to have to not, flip out and say, bitch, this is my child. You understand? And to let that Pharaoh's mother love her son so that her son would live. Brother, that's who we are. That's right. And that's what they taking from us, man. You understand? Was that on the verse? What?
General, if I could, sir, if you go to Jeremiah 8 and 12, I think it's almost continuing what Yediah brought out. Verse 12, sir, something that's Tawab, if I can read it for you, sir. Verse 12 says, were they ashamed when they had committed abomination? Nay, they were not at all ashamed, neither could they blush. Therefore shall they fall among them that fall. And the time of the visitation they shall be cast down, saith the Lord.
The time of that visitation, brother, they're going to be cast down. Like, you got to prepare your mind out of this world. The hell with this place. It's all going to burn. Go fix your people. Go learn how to become great like Yoshebel and her husband Amram. You know what I mean? I'm using the, the biblical, the Greek way of saying their name, but you can look them up in the Hebrew to get it right.
Come.
But brother, it was amazing what they did, and that's what we're supposed to do with our nation. I think that's it on that, right? Moving to the next story. Story 4. Let me get in here in the chat room with y'all too. I ain't even in the chat.
She hurt me. Florida teacher held 3-year-old child with autism in chokehold while she read book to other students during story time as he turned red.
God damn. That's wild.
Keep going, you done.
A Florida special needs teacher was charged with child abuse for allegedly putting a young child with autism in a chokehold while she was reading to a class full of students.
A chokehold on the floor? On the floor. Look at the picture. She in a chokehold with her feet. Is that a sister?
I think it is.
Look at that there.
Damn. You done? You gonna say something?
That I mean, come on. And you acting like you got something. You marrying that.
Can we tell you how much
you got? You marrying that. You think you got something. You understand?
Keep on, you know.
Khan, Vilma Otero was arrested on August 24th following an incident involving a 3-year-old child at Forest Lake Elementary School in Delatona, Florida.
DeAndre said I would need bail money. Damn right. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Khan. A educator who worked in a same classroom with Otero reported the 59-year-old to the Department of Children and Families, later told deputies she witnessed the incident during the class's story time.
And if I could, I'm not going to all the way charge her for this reason. This whole educational system is a racket because it's evil as hell that these children cannot be educated by their mothers. It's the evilest thing in the world. What greater motivation could you give a young girl that she is going to be the teacher of her own future children? Like, you gonna motivate a young girl to really learn, what she needs to learn to give her child the best education that child should have. Once again, the Lord's system of things is better than anybody else's system of things. Like, them classrooms filled up 15, 20, 25, 30, some of them up to 45 kids in one room full of all kind of sugar and dye number 3 and 4, 5, and 6, and every other chemical that they putting in these babies. You understand? And of course, they bouncing off the wall. You're going to tell a child they got to sit up in that room for 8 hours a day. They a child. Give me a damn break. You understand? You ain't got no other way to teach a child but to put them all piled up in one classroom and try to make them all settle down while you stand in a blackboard writing on a board. And they children learn with their hands. That's why they touching everything. What do you think they touching everything? They're trying to learn. Their brain is working. You shutting their brain off and telling them, listen, look at this thing I'm writing on the damn wall. By the time the child is 2 years old or 3 years old, the child is wigging out. That's why everybody got to give them phones. You got to give them phones because otherwise they bouncing off the damn walls. And they bouncing off the walls because you ain't giving them no real time. You ain't giving them no real time to really learn and get out and explore the world that they in. And once again, that's how a caveman would teach you. Like, a caveman is going to teach you in a cave. But that's not how the children of Israel learn. We learn by going out, experiencing, socialize. We are social people. We learn how to socialize. So it ain't all the way on her. This is the system they put her in the middle of. But that's a system that's going to go when Christ's kingdom come. When Christ's kingdom come, these women are going to be honored by how great they raise their kids, just like the scripture said. You understand? Like, they're gonna raise these babies. And these babies, the more educated, when they hear about, did you hear about so-and-so's son? He did this, and that. The education system ain't going to get the credit like they like to do now. But instead, that mother will get that credit. That father will get that credit. And they'll be the ones that receive the honor and the motivation to teach more children. Other people will say, yo, man, I'm bring my kids over, man, to learn from you. That's another thing. You don't know who this monster is teaching your kid. They nice to you when you bring the kid in the beginning. But what about after you leave? What about how she looks and snarls at your damn kid? You don't know what the hell is going on. But that's the system we in. I ain't telling nobody to pull them out. But we working on it. Watch. Keep your eye on the UPK. We done build more schools in this place than anybody else. And we'll keep building until we're able to build it to fill all of our children from the time they start school to the time they come out of college and university. They won't have to interact with such stupidity when it comes to learning. You know what I mean? You wonder why we in the hood and dropping out of school and all this, and they act like they don't understand. Like, these bastards can go to the moon, the depth of the ocean, wipe out whole countries, do all kinds of stuff all over the world, build amazing technology, but can't figure out why the kids won't sit still in school. I don't understand. We can't figure it out. You don't want to figure it out. You're not interested in figuring it out. It's not important to you to figure it out, which is why, once again, we should love the Lord. Why? Because the Lord loves the children of Israel. Like, it works hand in hand. Every child should love their father. Why? because their father loves and protects the children. So you should love your father. You understand? Well, guess what? The same applies to the Most High. You understand? We should love the Most High. Because why? Like a good father, he corrects and protects us from what it is that we do wrong. That's why he called us. He called us the children of Israel. We should act accordingly and do the will of the Father. This is a joke. In 2024, she's strangling this kid with her feet. To show you she's overwhelmed. She's overwhelmed, and she probably herself is the product of a broken household, especially if she's one of the tribes. Y'all chime in anytime y'all get ready.
And of course, if I could, sir, just like you said earlier, there's a clear and obvious fix to this by paying women to stay home and take care of their problem children.
There you go.
I can give you the evidence if you would like.
Come on.
Right now, if you have a grandmother who's elderly and she's sickly, you can get paid to be your grandmother's home care worker.
That's right.
And there's a government agency that you can go get a paycheck to stay home with your grandmother, as opposed to paying some nurse or facility to take care of your grandmother. You can get hired to take care of your own mother, to take care of your own elderly parent. Clearly, you could pay women to stay home and take care of their children who suffer from autism.
That's right.
The problem in America is every problem has to come to the point where it's more profitable to fix it.
Yeah.
Until that happens, nothing will change.
That's so heavy.
It just has to get there. It has to get so bad that the math says, it's better just to pay the grandchild money.
Yep.
Because we save money in paying their grandson to watch her. Let's do that. And now all of a sudden, now you can get paid for what you were already doing. So changing your mother's diapers, feeding your grandmother. You're already doing it for free.
Right.
But the minute the problem actually costs more than the solution, they will pay for the solution.
Exactly.
And it just has to get there with everything in life.
Because he's a damn animal.
That's the reason.
Like there's no value in humanity.
No.
The only value is dollars and cents. And if it don't make like you bring it out, which is so right, if it don't economically make sense, then we ain't spending the money. But meanwhile, they spend the money on buying off warlords and all that, because to that is valuable. We'll waste some money on this because not having bombs in our country is worth it to us. But to have a better quality of life for the slaves, what the hell we care about that for? Why would we put any money in that? It's a lot, y'all.
You there?
It's just business to them.
It's just business. Which is why we should serve the Lord, because it ain't just business to him.
Yeah.
To him, this is his nation.
That's right.
Heavy.
Khan, protests erupt at a California state capitol after parent reparations bill shelved.
Go ahead.
Khan, a parent reparations related bills for the descendants of enslaved Black Americans failed to pass in the California legislature.
Oh no, you die here. Slocky, can I get some paper towels out? No.
Oh, sorry. I got some right here.
Oh, do what? You mean to tell me it didn't pass? Go ahead.
Khan, sir.
I'm good. I appreciate it. Yeah, do what? Hey, can I get another cold water if I could? Go ahead.
Saturday, after backers said the bill would not move forward.
Right. And listen,
I'm talking
and listen, the amount of reparations that they want to give us, we could give ourselves that reparations by just separating from them spiritually. We could pay ourselves that reparation. Keep going, you die.
Khan. It says authored by the Democratic State Senator Stephen Bradford.
No, I'll just take the bottle if I could out. The water. Okay, the water. Go ahead. Sorry,
Senator Bill would have created a new state fund for reparations, while Senator Bill 1403 would have established a state agency to oversee these efforts and determine who would be eligible. These measures were considered key components of some lawmakers' ambitious efforts to pass legislation aimed at atoning for what they said was a legacy of racist policies that drove disparities for black people from housing to education to health.
Sir, can I give you a little background? It might save you some time with this. Captain Desire broke this whole thing down for me, and it's so stupid. I shouldn't be surprised that it's happening. For 2 years, those brothers in California, and when I say those brothers, I mean every drug addict, weed head, ankh wearing, crystal loving, chakra. Tariq Nasheed is who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Tariq Nasheed. I'm talking about every nut on the internet that lives in California and thought they were going to receive reparations. Sir, they've been going nuts about this for 1 year. This is how bad they've been getting. The tribe of Judah has been against the West Indians. Over in the West Coast, there is an entire division between black people in America and the Caribbeans, because black people led by Tariq Nasheed and other dreadlock weed smoking, what's that scent I hate? Chipotle?
Patchouli.
I made a mistake. You can wear whatever you want to wear.
But
I'm moving on. Yeah. So now,
don't come around you and say shit. You trying to let everybody be living. But certain shit just don't wear it when you see about. You wonder why you getting bad counsel, why you getting overly checked, you wearing some shit you don't got. Mine got the most sensitive nose you ever seen. It ain't a shit, but it's patchouli. You don't wear patchouli, brother. Listen, security know to stop you at the door. You want to see who? Not that shit.
Anyway, these are hippies, okay? That's my point I'm trying to make. They're hippies. And there is a giant thing over there where there's something called foundational Black America.
Yes.
And they're deciding that only the tribe of Judah, so-called Negroes, should receive reparations. And none of you Jamaicans, Trinidadians, or Africans, they put the Africans together with the Benjamites, with the West Indians, the chosen people of God.
Right.
And they're rejecting them. Why? Because the tribe of Judah, in their arrogance, is already over there deciding who's going to get the reparations. And we ain't going to share our reparations with them Jamaicans or them West Indians. They can't get our reparations. Meanwhile, the bill failed. For a year, they've been spending the money. You understand?
You kidding?
No,
me.
meaning they've been mentally.
Yes.
Like mentally.
They'd already bought the mansion.
Yes.
The Rolls Royce.
For a year, they're like, no, you from Jamaica. No, your parents didn't go through slavery in America. You Jamaicans can't get none. You Trinidadians, y'all can't have none of our reparations money. See, this is what we're going to do with our reparations money. We're going to invest it in businesses, and we're going to invest it in that, and in infrastructure, planning on what they're going to do with their vast resources. Meanwhile, the bill failed, and they got so sad.
God damn.
It's that stupid and ridiculous. You will never, ever receive reparations, ever. This is how bad it is, sir. Reparations has been determined to be unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. It's unconstitutional. There's a case in Evanston, Illinois. It passed last week. Evanston, Illinois went and tried to give housing reparations to Black people because the courts in the state of Illinois determined that through redlining is when you go through and decide, I'm not going to let Black people own houses.
Right.
That's redlining.
Right.
Well, you just make a red line saying no Black people can own homes here. Yep. So when Black people try to own a home, they automatically don't qualify.
That's right.
That was going on for years.
And it was legal.
And it was absolutely legal. Everyone did it. It was found out it happened. And the state of Illinois knew they were wrong. And so they decided to give Black people preferential treatment in housing now to make up for the 50 years of denying them homes.
Right.
Of course, someone sued when they tried that. Some white group sued and said it was unconstitutional
to do it.
They took it to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court used the 14th Amendment. And here's what's so stupid about being a so-called Black conscious person. The 14th Amendment is an amendment put in the Constitution to give slaves assistance because they were treated poorly. So it says you cannot treat anyone poorly based on race. That was in there so that they could give you reparations.
Right.
But guess what it means? You cannot treat white people poorly by not giving them reparations.
Good night.
That's what they interpret it now to mean. They use that exact 14th Amendment that was in there to make sure black people could not be treated unfairly, to say you're treating white people unfairly. You're breaking the 14th Amendment because white people aren't getting reparations. You're only giving it to, it's racist. You're giving reparations to black people. That's against the 14th Amendment. And the Supreme Court determined that it was unconstitutional. The Supreme Court is going to be that way for the next 30 years. For at least 30 years, you're going to have people on the Supreme Court that are conservative and do not believe in giving black people reparations. This is not a spiritual, it literally cannot happen for 30 years.
So they know
It's the law. Yeah, it's the law. It's just for 30 years until you get somebody on there who's totally different. And think how young those people Donald Trump put on there. And they in their 50s, man. They're gonna be there. They're gonna be there for 40 years. That last woman, she died on there. She was 95. That little one, that little short little Jewish woman.
Right.
She was like 100 years old.
Yes, you are.
She ain't retiring.
Right.
People ain't going anywhere. They're going to die there, which means they're going to be there for 40 years. So, wear your patchouli, get your dreadlocks, get out there and protest in front of the California Senate and protest your congresswoman. Oh, yeah, it is an election year. Kamala Harris is from California, and Kamala Harris is behind all this push for reparations in her home state with Governor Newsom, who's the governor of California, who's, of course, a major supporter of Kamala Harris. And black people were so ginned up to get reparations. It failed. But you know what we can do to make sure we get reparations? Vote for Kamala. And that way, in the next 4 years, we'll be able to get it.
Imagine that. And
So
if I could, just to add to what Muhammad was saying, brother, do you want to hear something ridiculous? Now, the island of Guam, which is a U.S. territory, it's an island. The island of Guam, 29% of the residents of Guam receive welfare. 29%. It is one of the highest territories in the United States to receive welfare. Hundreds of millions they basically live on welfare.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do out there. They just live on welfare and have a military base on the island. And they got no problem giving them heathens that money because that military base is sitting there facing Japan and everybody else coming out of Asia. They could care less about it. Once again, it's important to them. So, of course, they'll give all the welfare them people want. And never, ever, ever have you ever heard of any politician ever complaining about how many people are on welfare in Guam. Meanwhile, they always complaining about how many people on welfare in the United States when the percentage is way less than it is on the island of Guam. 25% of the entire population of Guam is on welfare. 25%, 29%, more than a quarter of the population is on welfare in Guam. Okay? You'll never hear about it. They'll never talk about it. And on food stamps. That's it. So that's it for reparations nonsense.
You die.
They heartbreak. And I gotta add one other thing too. That whole what do they call that group you said again?
Foundational Black Americans.
Right, foundational Black Americans. First of all, that sounds like an absolute white term. Okay, number one, man. Go ahead, you die. It's lucky.
If I can second what you just said and address something that General Muhammad said was so heavy. A lot of them, because I've dealt with a few young brothers that claim that they love Donald Trump. The niche on the Trump side of the foundational Black Americans, they bought into the black job garbage, and they're against not just West Indians and Haitians. They're strongly against Hispanic brothers and sisters too. They believe they're gonna get reparations and they're gonna get a quote unquote job from Trump if he get it.
And once again, which shows you, give it up for your dad. A heavy point. And let me tell you something else too. They're so spiritual. All the time when we go to do some get together with white people for our own benefit, it always, whether spiritually or intentionally, always turns into, we'll give you a crumb, but you got to reject them other tribes. We'll give you a little bit, but them other tribes, oh, you got to throw them under the bus. Like, he ain't saying ain't no Asians should get listen, the Japanese been here since the turn of the century. The Chinese built the railroad out to the West Coast. Why they ain't getting no reparations? But when they served and what they did, they gave the Japanese their cut when they after World War II. But the Chinese ain't get their cut. And not only that, other nations too. Why they ain't getting why they're not being called out to be rejected? Because the spirit of this place is always, especially out there on the West Coast. Y'all out there on the West Coast, man, y'all are disgusting. Because every last one of you blacks and Latinos that's separated from each other, you're separated from each other really because you have a jailhouse gang mentality. That's the only reason you separated. You separated because we are so segregated in prison on the West Coast that you, have the same mentality. You understand? And somebody wrote me about 2 weeks ago and said, the Latinos is doing crimes against us and hate us. You're doing crimes against you and hate you. How simple can you be? They just have all the trial. Half of Chicago is on trial in RICO charges for murdering and killing. You got serial killers coming out of South Chicago on trial for killing multiple people, and they're your tribe. So that's okay, but the other tribes can't never do it. They don't need to love you for you to care for them and to do the Lord's will. And here's the thing that people don't understand. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just us, but a lot of people learn about God and don't understand that you don't have no choice when it comes to God. Like, you could be dumb if you want to and act like you're going to pick and choose what things you do that the Lord said to do. But I got bad news for you. You don't decide what the Lord wants done. He decides it. You better follow what he said, because if you don't follow what he said, you end up in slavery like we just did. And the punishment is severe. The Lord wants them 12 tribes together. Nobody cares what you think. You're going to bring them 12 tribes together, or you're going to pay the penalty for not doing it. This is what the Lord wants. So them tribes, brother, got to come together. That's what the Father wants. Regardless of your gang affiliations or your gang mentality or whatever mentality you got going on out there in the West Coast, it don't have nothing to do with the Lord. He want them tribes together. They coming together. And when they come together, brother, they're going to have the best brotherhood you ever saw in your life. They're going to have a brotherhood, brother, that's going to frighten the hell out of your slave master, man. I'm off of it, you die. Anybody else want to get in?
You die.
Okay.
Opinion piece. Why black people are overrepresented among LA's homeless population.
Good.
People in marginalized groups are particularly vulnerable to falling into homelessness. Black people represent only 8% of Los Angeles population, but make up 34% of the city's unhoused population.
Go ahead.
Centuries of American history contribute to the overrepresentation, including decades of racist housing policies and redlining that deprive generations of Black Americans of wealth. Some consequences of such racist legacies are quantified, for instance, in the average wealth of white households, 189,000 versus Black 24,000.
Good Lord, that's a big number. You said that. Did you say that number again?
Sir. For instance, in the average wealth of a white household, it's 189,000 versus Black households, 24,000.
Oh, that's oppression, brother.
That is.
Jesus.
That is. That's hell on wheels.
And if I could, and think about how insulting that is. And think about how insulting it was for Donald Trump to say that now Black people have to hate Mexicans because we're fighting for the same jobs. We were here before the Irish people. We came first. The Irish people didn't come over till the 30s. We were here since the 1619. That's literally when we got here in 1619. We were here 100 years before the Irish.
But you can't act like you're supposed to get something before them.
Oh, no. We got to compete with a brother from Venezuela that got here yesterday.
Dang.
Like, we're in competition with him.
Dang.
When we were here 100 years before the Italians.
Right.
100 years before the British. I mean, before
the so-called Jew.
Oh, my goodness. 100 years before Jewish people got here. And yet, there are black people who think we should hate Mexicans because we're competing for the same jobs with an immigrant. With an immigrant that swam here. He and I are in competition when we've been here before the Italians, the Jewish people, and the Irish people.
That's right.
But we're competing with an illegal immigrant. That is disgusting and sad.
An insult.
It's an insult to even say that you and an immigrant are fighting over jobs and fighting over money. You know, something I learned from Commanding General YAHANNA that has always led me to understanding white people, the government, welfare, reparations, any government program. This is what you want to put in your head when you want to hate Mexicans because, you know, you're battling for resources or welfare, or hate Guatemalans or Puerto Ricans because you're fighting for resources. When it comes to white people, think about this when you think about them and money. They got it. That's all.
That's right.
They got it.
That's right.
We don't have to fight Mexicans over resources. Why? White people got it.
Right.
They have all of it. They could give us all money, every race, every nation. They could give us all mansions. They could give us all, we could all work from home. Listen, that Chinese man went and did a campaign and said he could just pay us all $1,000 a month. Remember his name, Wang or something?
Right. Right. He was so rich. He said he could just pay all.
He said America. He went and looked at the math.
Right.
And said every single American citizen could just be given $1,000 a month. He went too far in the Democratic primary.
Yes, he
From
did.
just what happened later on. Everybody got the money for the COVID.
Yeah.
Everybody just got the money.
That's right.
America didn't fall, didn't crumble.
Nothing.
They didn't lose one aircraft carrier.
Not
did they?
one.
Everybody just got a check.
That's right.
All the time.
Yep.
And here we are. Now we're going to fight with Mexicans over jobs. Brothers, they got it.
Yes, they did.
And guess what? If there were no Mexicans here, they still wouldn't give it to you.
That's right.
It wouldn't matter if there was not one single immigrant here. You would never get it. But they got it, right?
No,
I know for a fact they got it.
Yes, they
so like
do.
you, sir.
Like you said, you brought out a heavy point, Muhammad. Like when the COVID came, when it came to losing their empire, they came out so much that white people was like, they keep giving out welfare. They keep giving out checks. Like they was giving out some checks, bro. I wasn't getting them. But brothers was telling me, brother, the checks was coming from everywhere. And brothers were getting what's the tax return checks? What's
the COVID check?
Getting that stimulus checks.
Yeah.
Sisters was getting all kind of milk checks and hamper checks. It was checks coming from everywhere. Like they went when it came to saving their empire. Oh, the paper was there. It was no problem.
No.
They got the paper out the damn door.
And what went bad?
Nothing.
The military is still 80 times better than the British and the Germans. What happened?
And got 800 million during the COVID. They gave 800 million to make sure nobody invaded the country.
I don't understand. They got it.
Yes.
You don't got to fight with your people over money.
Yes.
They got it. They have
Yeah.
it. They should just hand it out.
Yeah.
Because that's what Marvin Wang said. He said they got it.
And he knew it.
Yeah.
And if I just to add
Please,
to what
sir.
you're saying, which is so heavy, General, like all we want is our portion. We ain't asking him for his portion.
No.
But certainly there's a portion that belongs to us.
That's right.
Like, can we at least have our portion? Yeah. They don't even want to give us our portion. We don't need their portion, which was so heavy about how the Lord delivered us out of Egypt. The Lord didn't ask them Egyptians for a goddamn thing. The Egyptians offered it up because they saw what the hell they did.
Oh, yeah, they did.
They offered the thing up, and we took it because they knew how much they owed.
Oh, yeah.
And it was right to do. And it was the right way to do. And, brother, they got it in this empire as well. You know what I'm saying? They got it in this empire as well. Just like you said. Go ahead, Murat.
If I may, sir. I think a brother in the chat might be misunderstanding what y'all saying.
Go ahead.
Just to address this brother Obed Israel, Mexicans are absolutely Israelites. They're absolutely Israelites. The generals are saying that we don't have to compete with our own brothers for money that the oppressor already has.
Right. So you can understand if you don't. Brother, what we trying to say is that the Mexicans are our blood brothers.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
That's what we trying to say. The Mexicans are our blood brothers. And brother, we live and die for them just like we would a Benjamin, a West Indian, a black man, or any other of the 12 lost tribes of the children of Israel. And I want to add something else to what General Muhammad brought out that was so heavy. You understand, which was, like you said, they got it. And we saw that they had it when it came to the immigration of the Ukrainians. Them Ukrainians had their own line at the Mexican border. They didn't have to wait for nothing. They came right into the country across the Mexican border. And not only that, they had housing set up. Like as they came across the border, they was already setting up housing with Edomites for those Ukrainians. That's why they ain't on the street right now. Why aren't there Ukrainians in shelters right now? More Ukrainians came into this country over the last 2 years than Mexicans and others combined.
That's right.
That's how many Ukrainians came. And meanwhile, you don't see any of them on the street. No. They all housed and clothed and took care of. Go ahead, Joe.
And got businesses behind the scenes.
And got
I saw
businesses.
somebody had a package sent, and the cheese had some more, it was called something, the milk rather.
Right.
And I looked it up, and it's some Ukrainian processed milk.
See
and
that?
Ukrainian, I didn't know what language it was. Found out it's Ukrainian on the cheese, and they got delivery businesses.
Yes.
Now, you know what I mean?
They said the Ukrainians was coming off the plane with the care packages and balloons from the State Department. The State Department was bringing balloons and pies and packages as the Ukrainians was coming off the airport. They was greeted with love and welcomehood and all that. The Mexicans, they put them in the shelters for a while and then pushed them out on the street to fend for themselves in the middle of Chicago winters. And you understand, to stir them up against us. Brother, it is evil what they was doing. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead, General. Go ahead, Slack. I'll give
If
you
I could. You know what the problem is? Another thing I learned from Commanding General YAHANNA, don't think like a peasant.
Yes.
Because you think like a peasant, you know what you do? You think the white government is like you in your house balancing your budget. So you like, well, man, I can't pay the cable bill because I got to pay the light bill. So you think, man, because they spending so much money in the Middle East, they can't give us food over here. They could do it all. Yes. They could put people on the moon, give everybody money, solve every problem because they have it. Yeah. It's not like you trying to pay your cable bill.
Right.
And that's how you think, like, they spend all this money over there in the Middle East. That they spend all this money on the Mexicans. That's why they can't give us schools. They could spend the money on the Mexicans and give you schools and go to Mars and build a spacecraft and solve the problems in the Middle East. They have it.
And still be the richest country
And
on the
still,
earth.
because they have it. And damn it, you got to just think, they got, okay, I don't have to worry about how many immigrants are coming over here.
Yes.
Because they got it. I don't have to hate Mexicans because they do construction.
Right.
They can give us all jobs, all money, and go to space.
Yes.
And fight every war and kill every government that's against them. They have it.
Yes.
Salakia.
Go ahead.
And now, you know they have it, but guess what? Why don't we have it?
Oh,
Because
Jesus.
the senators can't give you a penny.
Yes.
This government got to
Yes.
keep all that money for their damn
Yes.
selves.
It made me so mad. I watch the news and they go, they spending all that money. They giving the Mexican shelters. They giving the Mexicans.
Yeah.
That's why they can't give us anything.
Yeah. Coming to you now, you die. I saw Jake on TikTok today said, I was in line at the grocery store. And, I was just minding my business. And there was a Venezuelan couple in front of me. I knew it because their keychain had a Venezuelan tag on it. And then they went up, they had their groceries and they went up to the counter. And then all of a sudden I saw the wife pull out her phone and she punched in her phone to check how much money she had on her welfare card. And he said $1,400. I said, she an immigrant and she got $1,400 worth of food stamps. That money could have been my money in my damn pocket. And I'm coming to you, I promise you.
Please.
But what I wanted to say on what you were saying, Muhammad, that was so heavy and so silly and you so ignorant. You need to think, when you think about the white man's money in his government, I need you to think of a fax machine.
Okay.
Okay, he prints the fucking money himself. Goddamn it, he ain't like you. It ain't like if I don't have $89, they're gonna shut the lights off. He prints $89, and then when he go down the list, he said, "Okay, I need $500 for the card note." He don't check to see if he got $500. He prints $500 more. Now he don't check to see how much he got. He prints whatever the hell he wants. It's his money. He's ruling his empire. He don't have to check what. He prints whatever he wants. So how could he not have enough to print whatever the hell he wants? It's just you're the slave. Come on, you die. Salah.
If I could, sir, a funny story. I'm on Shamar at the cookout, sir. Me and the young brother from Baltimore. And this devil came up. He came up and was like, do y'all accept immigrants? And we was like, we accept the Mexicans, Venezuelans, the Guatemalans. He had the nerve to say he's from the Ukraine. In my carnality, I told him to get the fuck out.
You're supposed to do that. I understand. I get you. You know what I'm saying? God. Like they don't want us to have nothing for us. Like you cannot love the 12 tribes without a conflict, without a problem, without them raising a traitor against you, because this is the end all for all empires when those 12 tribes come together. Yep. It is the absolute end all for every empire on the earth. Go ahead. You was going to, you know what I mean? For every empire on earth. Go ahead, General.
It's amazing how throughout history they put on every movie on show. For years they say, we're going to do this robbery, blame it on black people. Black people we don't involve black people. We don't do business with black people. And they hear it. The people with power hear it and turn their ears to it, turn their eyes to it. Like they don't see it. But the minute you say we ain't going to include the Ukrainians or some white person, or we're not going to include Jewish people, it's like, whoa.
Panic sense.
That ain't right. Now they see it and speak on it, and it's national, and Jewish people got a commercial, like a fight against Jewish hate, and it's a mess, man. We blatantly get treated so unjustly that, why even depend on this?
That's right. And to add to what General Mayak said, the only way that changes if we decide how we going to treat us. If we decide the intolerance of how we going to treat us. Let me just answer Anthony W26's answer. Yes, the Taino Indians are the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. That's right. The Tainos are the Lord's chosen people. And to go up to Obed's point, Obed, the Mexicans are not receiving reparations. They are giving Mexicans some welfare and some funds to function, you understand, while they're in the country. It's nothing compared to what they give in other groups. That's why the Mexicans are on the streets. Yeah. I went to Chicago recently. I was just up in Chicago when we did the Detroit cookout. Brother, I'm in Chicago. I'm in the car with my rib, right? She's from Chicago. And I'm in the daggone Chicago, brother. Stopping every block because she gives money to the Mexican. She get out handing Mexicans on the street with their babies. On the street with their babies, she getting out handing the money, giving money to these Mexicans. They all over the damn place. Because why? They all up in here getting almost nothing, almost absolutely nothing. And for you to never think, this is how you know you're a slave. For those that not you, Obed, but for those who think this way. Here's how you know you're a slave. You're here in America, the richest country in the world, with wealth all around you. Nope. If you're in any major city, you live in skyscrapers. Let me tell you something about Chicago you may not know. A lot of people don't know how rich Chicago is. Do you know that commodities that are traded on the New York Stock Exchange, that they go through a Chicago exchange to set the prices? Meaning, in other words, let's say you're going to buy $20 million worth of oranges from, Venezuela, right? And you're going to sell those oranges to China. The exchange that you do to change the money and send it to China, that's in Chicago. So they trade in billions of dollars of commodities in Chicago every day. And you ain't seeing a dime of that. Go look at the banks. The banks in Chicago are skyscrapers because they got to exchange so much cash. If you buying soybeans, if you buying wheat from anywhere in the world and you bringing it into the U.S. or you selling it through a U.S. broker, it's going through Chicago. And that's why they panicking in Chicago, because with this BRICS thing, they getting cut off where they don't know who's trading now. They're not going to know who's trading with who. Before that, they know who's trading with everybody, and they can undercut anybody. Chicago got billions coming through that city. Ain't no poverty in Chicago. There's billions. Listen, they're getting ready. They got plans on the table in Chicago, brother, to build an entire ferry between Chicago and Canada across the Great Lakes, and to build a whole condominium city off of the edge of Chicago that matches a condo city, a huge city they're going to build on the edge of Canada. They got, like you said, they have it. They could build whatever the hell they want. There's so much money in Chicago, brother, they don't know what to do with it. But meanwhile, they give $1,400 a month to Mexico, and to us, it's like, whoa, Mexicans getting all the money. What's going on here?
We're gonna run out. Ain't gonna be nothing left for me.
Right. I can't get that. You are a slave-minded brother or sister. If you think this way, you don't understand that you're a slave. And so you see that crumb, and that's what slaves do. That's why you think blacks and Latinos fight and kill each other every day in the ghetto. You think you fighting and killing each other because you got real rivals? You're fighting and killing each other because both of you are trying to eat a crumb. And you wonder why white people are so pleasant. Even they dogs is pleasant. Yeah. You go down to the rich white area, the dog don't bark at you or nothing. You walk past them, it's nothing. But you in the hood scrapping and fighting and stabbing and shooting each other because you're poor and you don't have nothing. And you're scrapping for everything you have, and you feel violated because everything is being taken from you. If you just live a life where every dime is being taken from you, you're going to feel violated every damn day just living that existence. And it puts you on a war footing to try to survive, where you got to get every bit you could get because there's so little for you to fulfill your needs. That's conditioning. That's brainwashing. That's enslavement. You understand? That's what that is. And so if you looking at the Mexicans that way, but you not looking at Bank of America, Wells Fargo, all these huge, you ain't looking at that. You ride 15 minutes outside of Chicago. You ever been there? Listen, I've examined the whole city. You ride 15 minutes outside of Chicago, the homes are $1 million. In the poverty that's in Chicago, the home, I'll do you better. That ain't good enough? No problem. I'll do you better. Go into South Chicago itself. Go into South Chicago. Go right on O Block or wherever the killing is going on, and then put in your GPS Hyde Park.
Hey, that's all you got to do.
Hyde Park is like 2 minutes from the poorest ghettos on South Side, and Hyde Park got $3-4 million condo. Barack Obama building his library 2 minutes from where O Block and them shooting each other to death.
There, and Michael Jordan.
And Oprah lived there, got condos, Michael Jordan. The Magnificent Mile is called the Magnificent Mile because that's how much money is on that mile. Brother, there is no poverty in America. There's only enslavement. That's what you don't understand. We go back and look at the ancient Egypt and look at all the wealth and splendor and the pyramids, and they talk about all this. What they don't tell you about is that while they had all this wealth and splendor and pyramids, they also had us in utter poverty. For people that had so much wealth, you think you live in it. Their fingernails were made of gold. I saw them for myself in them tombs in Egypt. Their fingernails were made of gold. Like they ain't paint their fingernail. They painted gold on their fingernail. You understand? They sat in solid gold chairs. They lived ridiculously and so much so that they put the bastard in the tomb and put all his wealth in the tomb. You want to talk about extreme selfishness? Do you know that the Egyptians used to kill their servants when the Pharaoh died and put their servants inside the tomb with the Pharaoh? So that when he come in the afterlife, the servants can come back and finish. Like, you gonna die and still serve this motherfucker. Excuse my friend. Yeah, he used to do it. And not just the servants, his animals too. That's right. His baboons and all his favorite animals, his birds. They put all of that going in the tomb with him. That's why when they open them tombs, they pack to the damn stone. Because his clothes, his shoes, his couches, his boats, all of that shit is in there. That's how rich they was. And listen, and you had to be pretty damn rich to not say, yo, we need all this. He dead. They so rich, they let him have it. Let him take it with him. We'll make new ones for the next guy. That's how rich these Egyptians were. And America is just as rich, man. Donald Trump's airplane is bigger than Air Force One. It's bigger. That's right. It's bigger than Air Force One. That Trump plane with the blue stripe, that's bigger than Air Force One. You could put 10 families. It's like 3 or 4 floors in that joint. You could put 10 families in it. You could literally live on that plane and never have to get off that plane. That's right. You know what I mean? They'll ship the food right onto the plane. You could fly around the world and never have to get off the plane. You got jacuzzis, bowling alleys, weight rooms, bedrooms. You know what I mean? His mansion's got gold leaf all over the ceilings and all that. They got it. Like Muhammad said, they print it how they want. And you don't understand you're a slave and that you should repent for your sins, turn back to the Father in heaven, pray to the Lord, and let him do to this empire and all the empires the same thing he did in Egypt, which is to shut down these heathens and bring forth the way of the most high power, the kingdom of heaven under Yahawashi. Amen. We see y'all next time live on the UPK. Yeah. Heavy hitters in the building with me. General Muhammad, General Mayat, General Hazayan, my main man, Officer Marah, Officer Yadai, Officer Mathumya, Officer Ibaya, y'all. Give it to me. Nathaniel in the building, the newest addition to the game. Holding it down, man. Big shout out to all Israel. I'll see y'all next time live on the UPK, y'all. Shalom. Yeah.
On the people like Ronald, their families went through back in the 70s and 80s under people like Ronald Reagan and others.
Right.
And they were strung out fighting to survive and feed their families. They had nothing for these young brothers.
Right.
So what did they do? They brought them out and they let them expound on their artistic abilities. And these brothers created this. You don't steal our culture.
That's right.
This was born by blacks, Latinos, Native Americans in the hood.
Right.
With tacos and hot dogs and burgers and meat. This is what it was for among our community. And as Hebrew Israelites, y'all know we keep our culture.
That's
and I want to say to all the break dancers that hear about this, including these brothers, man. You brothers honored us today. You let us know that our culture is not stolen from us.
That's right.
We work hard for wholeheartedly. We want to thank you, brothers, man, and all Israel, man. Keep our identity. Rise, Israel. That's who you are. You are the biblical people of God. You read that Bible, it ain't talking about white people. It's talking about blacks and Latinos. That's who Moses was. That's who Jesus was. That's who those men were. Black and Latino brothers that kept these folks.
Right.
Thank y'all, man. I appreciate it.
Damn right.